It's Dorm Room Sports Chat. I'm your host, Emmy Comia, with analyst Evan Murray, UATV Sports Director Joey Petrello, and analyst Salva Carmona. Dorm Room Sports Chat starts right now. Welcome to another episode of Dorm Room Sports Chat. I'm your host, Emmy Comia, joined by our three analysts, Joey Petrello, Salva Carmona, and Evan Murray. Tonight, we discuss yesterday's tough loss for Arizona football, debate some topics around Major League Baseball, and give you a Wildcat Sports report, along with an NFL West Coast score rundown, and finally, we'll cap things off with 30 seconds. Yesterday, the Arizona football team went to Palo Alto, California to face the number 18 Stanford Cardinal. Wildcats had a 48-34 lead with 9 minutes and 13 seconds left, but they were unable to hold on to it. Stanford forced the game into overtime and walked away with a 54-48 homecoming victory. Evan, after Stanford tied the game at 48, Arizona had a final regulation possession with just under a minute left in the game. Coach Rich Rodriguez played it safe by running out the clock to play overtime. Should Coach Rod have tried to score?
No questions asked for me. This is no-brainer. Of course he should have tried to score. I think it affected more than just the fact that we ran out the 45 seconds we had. It shot our quarterback's confidence in the overtime, I think. Mascot had a fabulous game, and so did our kicker, a banana, of course, like the person I hate on the most. But you need to give that a chance. I mean, Mascot was 45 of 69 and broke records. He's number 2 in the NCAA in passing yards with 2,099. Why Rich Rod didn't give him a chance to at least take the ball down the field and try a kick, I don't understand at all.
Well, you've got to consider that against Oregon State, the Wildcats were in a similar situation. It was a under 2-minute situation, and Matt Scott ended up throwing an interception and wasn't able to make the comeback. So I don't know. I wish that Rich Rod would have gotten a little more aggressive there, but at the same time, it's a little risky, and I don't mind him trying to play it safe and go into overtime.
But with 45 seconds left, how risky it gets?
Yeah, and how risky is, I mean...
A fumble,
Rich Rod goes for things on 4th down. Come on.
Okay,
Rich Rod is known to be risky, so why not have confidence in your quarterback?
I wish that he did go for it, Evan, but I just don't hate it that he did.
I mean, if your quarterback throws over 400 yards, you can get a fumble, you can get a pick. But he hasn't got at that time he had no picks and no fumbles.
Right.
So why not try it? I feel like he should have been a little bit more brave and gone for it.
I'm
not saying a Hail Mary, but I'm saying just run the ball down the field. Not run it, pass the ball down the field and try to get a kick.
Yeah, because he started to run it.
Yeah, and he ran it with 45 seconds. You know you're not going to get it unless they make a terrible mistake, and that wasn't going to happen because their defense is solid.
Well, like I said, I agree with you both, but I'm not disgusted that he didn't go
I'm disgusted. And the whole game. No, and I'm not a pessimist anymore about this team. This has shown me. No, I'm really not. Because the first 3 quarters were fabulously coached, and so it's just at the end of 45 seconds for you.
Offensively, at least.
Yes, offensively. I mean, defensively, there's not much to work with. Mm-hmm. So, I was extremely disappointed in that call by Rich Rod.
Yeah, I was disappointed at the outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of the interception during regulation that we could have had, we had it in overtime. Much better.
Okay, well, Salva, this is Arizona's 3rd straight loss now. After starting the season off 3-0, they have now dropped to 3-3. Is there any momentum left from those first 3 games?
No, I don't think there is anymore. We have to be rational about the victories. One was against Toledo. One was from a team that comes from the MEAC conference. So it was even
what
hard.
Conference?
Yeah, that's right. It was even hard to say. So that tells you what team we played. It was great that we beat Oklahoma State, but they're not as good as the year before. And the reason they were ranked 17th coming into the season was because of the season they had last year. They're still a solid team, but after three losses, the one against Oregon, that was horrible, and then two ranked teams that we could have beaten, and we weren't able to hold on to our lead until the very end. I mean, we're like winning until the very end, and then we lost. I don't think there's any momentum left from the first three games.
Well, what I think is that I don't think there's any momentum from those first three games, but I think there's momentum from the most recent game, from Saturday's game. I mean,
really?
Because
it was heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking, but at the same time, they played their hearts out the whole way, and statistically, the offense did amazing. I think over 600 yards total offense. Matt Scott almost threw for 500 yards. He threw for 491, 2 touchdowns. He broke the record of Willie Tuitama's pass attempts, and he attempted 69 passes. The previous record from Tuitama was 61. So, there's a lot of good things to take away from the game, especially offensively. Defense, it's the same story every week. They give up a lot of points. They give up a lot of yards. But I still think that there's a lot of momentum that at least offensively we can take away.
I agree completely. I think, if anything, the last few games, even though we've lost, and at the end of the day, our defense couldn't hold out, which, story be told, it's the same thing every game. I think our offense has shown incredibly what they're made of. I mean, Carey had 200 total yards last game. He's first in the Pac-10 with touchdowns, 11 touchdowns. He's doing an amazing job. Austin Hill's coming through for everybody. 165 yards last game, 2 touchdowns. Just completely, the offense is
rolling.
It's rolling. But, I mean, you can't, the defense is what it is. It's small. We're small. They've played with everything I feel like they have.
And Rich Rod has said numerous times that they're very thin, especially defense. It's not a very deep offense or defensive team, so there's going to be defensive struggles this year, and I think it can get better as he recruits better people.
Right.
But for now, we have to deal with the defense that we have.
I agree with the stats. There's a good thing to take out from the game, even though we lost and it was heartbreaking, and the stats are good. But the stats are meaningless if you lose a game that you're winning by 2 touchdowns, 7 minutes to the end, and you end up losing. So I think that kind of kills the whole game, even though you had a great game up until that point. That's what I was.
I have to say, and everyone calls me the mean one, right? But I have to say, even though we lost, I think that was the biggest breath of fresh air I've had in a few games, actually. I felt like, if anything, I saw the confidence that Matt Scott can have.
But we could argue that from Oregon. But we could argue that from Oregon State said the same thing.
I know, but to me, Stanford stuck out more to me because I thought they played a better game.
And I think that they can take away a good amount of momentum from this game because they've proven every week besides the game against Oregon that they can hang with the best of the teams in college football. So, and the expectations for this team shouldn't be that high. So I think just the fact that they're able to, stay with really good teams throughout the whole game, come close to even winning them, they just have to learn how to finish. That's the one thing that they need to work on besides defense.
Yeah, and one more thing. Jared Tevis tweeted, and I think it gives a good indication of how they're feeling. And he said, even though things aren't going our way, you can still tell we're a different team. We're going to get there. And I don't think I could have said it better, and I think that's how they all feel.
And it's not like last year where every game almost just felt like a complete just punch to the stomach, nothing really good to take away from it. But this year, the Wildcats are in every single game. They're playing well, and they're just not finishing, and that's the one thing that they need to do. Once they learn how to finish games, the potential, the sky is the limit for this team.
Right.
Okay, well, Joey, Arizona now gets a break with their bye week. How should they use it to get there, like Evan said?
Well, I think the most important thing of this bye week is that players are going to get time to heal their injuries. There was 4 players on the questionable list for Saturday's game, and including some players on that list were Kyle Quinn and Jared Tevis, who are 2 of the team's most important players. So give them some time to heal up, and also fix the defensive issues. I know there's a lot of them, but if you can just fix a couple of them, whether it be covering the receivers better, not letting, taking away big play abilities from the running backs. Stephon Taylor had an absolutely incredible game for Stanford last or on Saturday, and he ran all over us. So there's a lot of things to fix on defense. Also, work on the 2-minute drill so then we can have some confidence next time, and when there's 40 seconds in the game, actually go for it instead of playing it safe. I think a 2-minute drill workout would do a lot of good things for this team.
Yeah, and I think our injuries really did hurt us this past game. Kyle Quinn, Matt Scott got sacked 3 times.
Yep.
He's huge. He's our senior. And then I think everyone's just banged up. Everyone's tired. Defense, definitely. And you were talking about the defense. Also, like, every time we expected, okay, we need a stop. We're on 3rd down. And, our defense is on 3rd down, protecting their offense. And every time we asked for it, we never got it. It's like when they needed to come in clutch, they couldn't. And so that's where I think maybe just the bye week came at the most perfect time.
Yeah, this is a good time for the bye week to come, especially after 3 straight losses. Give the team a break. Give the team a break from losing just a week to just get their things together and come out better for Washington, which I think is a very beatable team for this Arizona Wildcats.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
All right, when DRSC returns, we'll talk Major League Baseball playoffs and Josh Hamilton's future with the Texas Rangers. Don't go away.
I'm Derek Williams, your former U of A Wildcat. You're watching UATV. Don't change the channel.
No mistake, I don't do anything for free. I keep my enemies closer than my mirror ever gets to me. And if you think that there is shelter in this attitude, where do you feel the warmth of my gratitude? I get the feeling that it's 2 against 1, already fighting me. So what's another one?
Come game time, pressure falls on the shoulders of this season's drum major.
For an entire week, there's golfing, food, drinks, and entertainment that doesn't stop when the sun goes down.
If you are not yet registered to vote, here's what an Arizona voter registration form looks like.
Bundle up, Wildcats, winter is almost here. Reporting from the UA Mall for Wildcats, I'm Shay Sorensen.
Yeah, that's
Welcome back to Dorm Room Sports Chat. The MLB playoffs have commenced. Evan, earlier today, the Detroit Tigers took a 2-0 lead in their divisional series against the Oakland Athletics. Can the never say die A's make another season-saving comeback?
I'd like to say so, and I don't believe they can. The Detroit Tigers are on fire. The A's had quite the sloppy game. They lost off of a walk-off win for the Tigers. They're back at home, but, do the Bad News Bears have any, energy left? I don't know. I don't think so. They keep coming back, but I'm not convinced, no.
Well, let's just say, first of all, it was a phenomenal run for the Oakland Athletics, coming back to win their division over the Rangers. But I do agree with you that I think a comeback seems daft at this point, just because the Tigers just have too much firepower, and their pitching's great. Justin Verlander dominated them the other night, and Doug Fister was great today as well for the Tigers. Miguel Cabrera doing his thing still, 3 for 5 today with a run scored. So I just don't see it for Oakland. It was a great season for them, though. Nobody expected them to have the kind of season that they did at all, and nobody expected them to take over the division and beat the Rangers. So
right.
Kudos to them for that, at least.
Absolutely.
I totally agree with that. In fact, the only thing I have to say against the Oakland A's is that they still run their Moneyball type of constructing a team around the stats, and because they have a low payroll, and I understand that, but that works in 162 games. I'm not quite sure that works in 7 games. It's just a matter of stats. It's just you don't have as much room to come back from 2 losses, and I don't think it will. And I agree with you two. I don't think they will come back from the 2-0.
And this Oakland Athletics team is extremely young too. They have some time to get better in postseason play, but for now, I just think that it's not going to work out for them.
All right, Salva, even though the MLB playoffs have the best teams playing, there's still always underdogs. Which underdog team do you think can make a deep run in the playoffs this October?
I am not so sure about any of them making a deep run. I do think I think Detroit will beat Oakland, like we were talking about it just now. I think Cincinnati will win their series, and I think New York will defeat the Orioles. I could only give some type of leeway to St. Louis beating the Nationals, even though despite they've already lost the first game. But if there's a team that has a chance to making it somewhat of a run into the playoffs, I will go with St. Louis.
And I would say the same thing just because they're the defending World Series champs. They've all been there before. Of course, no Albert Pujols anymore for them, but they still have Adam Wainwright, Chris Carpenter, good veterans in there. So, if any team that's an underdog is going to do it, I would say it's the Cardinals as well.
All right, Joey, the Texas Rangers had an ugly September collapse and ultimately missed the playoffs after leading their division for most of the season. The face of their franchise, Josh Hamilton, could be headed for free agency. Do you think he'll walk?
I don't. I don't think that he'll walk. I think he'll strongly consider it, and there's going to be a lot of offers to him that are going to be of high money. But the Rangers need Josh Hamilton. It would be unacceptable to let him go. He's the face of their franchise. He's easily the best hitter in their lineup. He hits for average power and drives in a lot of runs. His contract is going to suffer, though, a little bit since he batted .258 in September, and he should deserve a little bit of the blame. Well, actually, no, he should deserve a good amount of the blame for that September collapse that the Rangers had. But still, I just think the Rangers are going to go hard for Josh Hamilton. I expect the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Cubs, all the big teams with a lot of money are going to go for Josh Hamilton. But in the end, I think that he's a Texas Ranger for life.
Okay, after this quick commercial, we'll come back with a Wildcats sports report and give you a look at how the NFL West Coast teams fared this week. Don't go away.
I see those clones looking down on me, but unlike those clones, this dog is free. Oh Lord, it's a dog's life. Oh Lord, it's a dog's life, dog's life. Oh Lord, it's a dog's life.
I'll be right there.
Thanks, cameraman. You're my hero.
Welcome back, Arizona fans. We now give you the Wildcat Sports Report. The Arizona women's volleyball team was defeated 3-0 by number 6 UCLA today. At the Grand Canyon Invite, the number 2 ranked Arizona women's cross-country team took first place, and Arizona women's tennis sophomore Haley Johnson earned her second singles victory in 2 days yesterday at the Falcon Fall Invitational. Arizona men's tennis also enjoyed success yesterday, with Kiernan Thompson, Matt Dunn, and Carlos Bermudez all enjoying straight set victories at the Aztec Victories. They have 2 doubles matches to play today. And now for the NFL West Coast rundown. Kevin Kolb was sacked 9 times as the Arizona Cardinals were spanked 17-3 by the Rams in St. Louis on Thursday. Earlier today, the San Francisco 49ers embarrassed the Buffalo Bills 45-3, and the Oakland Raiders are on their bye week. Right now, the San Diego Chargers are up 24-14 with just under a minute left against the Saints. Analyst Robert Griffin III left today's game in the third quarter with symptoms of a concussion. How will this affect the Redskins season as well as the league overall? Thoughts?
I'll go first on this one since he was my starting quarterback in fantasy football for like the last few weeks, and he's giving me a lot of points. So I really like him. I think he's a really good quarterback, and I think it's probably the best rookie quarterback in a long, long time. But if he ends up being a concussion, the Redskins are doomed.
It's a mild concussion.
Oh, it's
yeah,
only.
it's been told.
So how many games will he lose?
They haven't said yet.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to get to. Like if I mean, I was expecting them to go 5-9, 6-8 at his best. If it's gonna be like a long term, like not playing games just in case what could happen, or keep him from next season, which a lot of teams do that, then the Redskins will probably win like one more game and that's it.
Yeah, let's face it, Redskins fans, your season is over if he's injured long term. However,
I don't think that's the case.
He is. I don't think it's the case either. But now RG3's head is sensitive.
Yeah.
I expect him to keep playing, but now his head is sensitive. So next time he takes a big hit to the head, which it's football, it's the NFL, so it's bound to happen at least sometime, especially for a scrambling quarterback such as Robert Griffin III. If that happens again and he gets a serious head injury, then Washington is in some serious trouble.
Yeah.
This guy right now is the Rookie of the Year, I believe, even though Andrew Luck, that was impressive today, how he pulled off a upset win over Green Bay. However, I still think it's RG3, though. He's making so many plays with his arm, with his legs. He's just, I feel like Robert Griffin III is almost like a better version of Michael Vick when he was a rookie. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's a great athlete in general. I think he has...
amazing.
Yes. Many ends of the spectrum on him.
Do you guys have a breakdown of our NFL rookies? I mean, between Whedon, Luck, and RG3, who do you guys think will be a better player in the long term?
Luck. I gotta go with Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck coming
Franchise
into
quarterback.
Yeah, Andrew Luck coming into a league. He was #1 pick in the draft, even despite he was not a Heisman. But he was better overall in every aspect of the game. And in fact, I'm surprised that RG3 turned out as good as he's been.
I'm not surprised by that.
I mean, I was expecting him to be good, but I wasn't expecting him to be that great.
Well, I think RG3 has a little bit better of a team around him.
That's right.
Than does Andrew Luck.
The Washington Redskins have a better offensive line and defensive line.
And a better coach.
That's right. And especially now the Colts with the coach having
Chuck Pagano
so he's out. I don't think he'll come back this season. So I think in the long run, Andrew Luck will be better. I mean, everybody said, and I agree, that he's one of the best college quarterbacks of all time in terms of like fundamentals. So I think he'll be better in the long run, especially because he's taller. He's better physically, and he's not as prone to injury as RG3 is, and we saw that during his college career that he got injured a couple times.
Yeah, I would say that Luck is probably going to have the best career because he's not a scrambling quarterback, and RG3, we have no idea how healthy RG3 is going to be able to stay. Also, Andrew Luck looks like potentially he could be as good as Aaron Rodgers. He reminds me a lot of Aaron Rodgers because they both have pretty decent speed and great arms. So, and that was a phenomenal win that he pulled off today. He's got a lot of chemistry early with Reggie Wayne. So, I mean, he doesn't have much around him, but he's making the most of it, and the Colts look like a completely different team than they did last season. As for Brandon Whedon, I mean, he's okay. He's solid, but he's 27 years old. He's one of the oldest rookies to ever come out. I don't know how long-lived his career is going to be. Also, just the whole Cleveland Browns organization as a whole is a mess. The whole team is just such a mess right now. I don't know how good Brandon Whedon is going to be, and I don't know if he can turn it around for the Browns in time when they fix all the other holes that they have right now. So
I mean, I have some hope for Ryan Tannehill. I think he might be good, but again, he plays for the Dolphins, so who knows?
Trent Richardson looks really good.
That's right.
For the Browns. He looks good.
Fantasy team.
All right, we're going to take another quick commercial break. When we return, we'll finish off the show with a game of 30 seconds. Stay tuned.
Hi, it's David Hasselhoff, the Hoff. Get Hoff with UATV. Stay tuned. Don't change the dial.
Welcome back. It's that time, everyone. Every analyst will have 30 seconds to talk about a sports topic of their choosing. Evan, you're up first. You've got 30 seconds. Go for it.
All right. I'm going to talk about my fantasy team. Victor Cruz coming in clutch, Trent Richardson coming in clutch, and a little lesson of the day, though. Do not keep a bye week player in your fantasy team. The guy that I'm going up against, which he's won all 4 of them, all 4 of the weeks, and I go up against him, and he has 2 players, his defense in bye week, and one of his, I think his tight ends in bye week. What are you doing? Pay attention to your fantasy team. But regardless, I'm whooping him. So it's all good for me, but I wish there was a little bit of challenge because I am having such a good week anyways. But
all right.
Wait, is this 30 seconds or 40 seconds?
Salva, you have 30 seconds.
Just trying to help people out.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about Miguel Cabrera and his Triple Crown. I got to say something. In our earlier show this week in ESPN Radio, ESPN Deportes Radio, where we worked, we got a lot of hate mail saying that we didn't talk enough about his performance. I got to say something. There's no such thing as an MLB fan. There's only MLB purists, and stats are cool, but on the media, you guys have to understand that on ESPN, they much rather talk about stories that actually give good ratings, like the Falcons, that gave us 17 rating instead of 1.5, which is baseball.
Thanks, Salva. Joey, you have 30 seconds.
Well, I just would like to say that Kansas City Chiefs fans, you're real classy for cheering when your quarterback, who had his appendix removed 2 seasons ago and led you to the playoffs, when he got hurt, you guys were cheering. Come on, don't cheer when your quarterback gets hurt. I mean, and then when Brady Quinn stepped on the field, everybody gave him a standing ovation like he's going to save their season. Your season is done. You're 1-4. Brady Quinn is not good. He's just another overhyped product from Notre Dame that will never last as a starter in the NFL, just like Jimmy Clausen.
I think that was 40 seconds.
All right, thank you,
well,
Joey.
I just wanted to be like you, Evan.
Oh, thanks.
I look up to you.
All right, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Dorm Room Sports Chat. We'll be back next week, so don't miss out.